Panda Express is everyone's lazy go-to, but some of their menu bites? Total overrated junk. And others, legit hits you didn't see coming. Look, we've all been there. Standing in that fluorescent lit food court, staring at those heat lamps, while the person in front of you takes 17 minutes to decide between orange chicken and orange chicken. Because let's be honest, 90% of people order the same 5 things every single time. But here's the thing, some of those crowd favorites are straight up disappointing, and some of the dishes everyone ignores, they're actually doing the work. Today we're breaking down the 5 most overrated Panda Express dishes that need to lose their hype, and the 5 underrated gems that actually deserve your money. By the end of this, you'll never look at that sneeze guard the same way again. And trust me, what I'm about to tell you about their most popular dish is going to make you question everything. Here we go, the sacred cow. The menu item that probably funds half of Panda Express's operations. Orange chicken is the basic choice of Chinese American food. It's what people order when they want to feel adventurous, but don't actually want to try anything new. And look, I get it. The marketing works. Those glossy orange chunks glistening under the heat lamps, promising sweet and tangy perfection. But here's the reality check nobody wants to hear. Orange chicken is basically chicken nuggets with candy sauce. That's it. That's the whole thing. The chicken itself is usually overcooked, rubbery, and has the texture of something that's been sitting under those heat lamps since the Clinton administration. The breading gets soggy from the sauce, creating this weird, mushy exterior. And that famous orange sauce? It's sugar. Just sugar with some orange flavoring and enough sodium to make your blood pressure monitor file a complaint. One serving has more sugar than a can of Coke. But the real crime is the consistency, or lack thereof. I've had orange chicken that was decent, and I've had orange chicken that tasted like someone poured Tang over rubber bands. A former Panda Express employee from California shared, "The orange chicken sits in that sauce for hours. By the end of the day, it's basically chicken-flavored mush swimming in orange syrup." You're not being adventurous. You're ordering the most predictable, overhyped sugar bomb on the menu. Let's talk about the biggest lie in American Chinese food, fortune cookies. First of all, they're not even Chinese. They were invented in California. So, right off the bat, we're dealing with cultural appropriation, masquerading as authenticity. But putting aside the cultural issues, let's focus on the practical problems. These things are terrible. Half the time they're stale, like aggressively stale. Stale to the point where you need a hammer and chisel to crack them open. The other half of the time, they're missing entirely. You finish your meal, reach for your fortune cookie, and nothing. The container is empty. And when you do get a fresh one, the fortune inside is usually some generic nonsense like, "You will find happiness in small things." These aren't fortunes, they're motivational poster slogans from 1987. One Panda Express manager from Texas told me, "People complain more about missing fortune cookies than they do about cold food. They'll eat lukewarm chow mein without saying a word. But if we're out of fortune cookies, suddenly we've ruined their entire day. You're getting worked up over a stale wafer with a piece of paper inside that was written by a computer program." Beijing beef sounds impressive, doesn't it? Exotic, sophisticated. The reality? It's sweet and sour pork's disappointing cousin who never lived up to the family expectations. Beijing beef is supposed to be crispy beef strips with bell peppers and onions in a tangy sauce. What you actually get is soggy meat swimming in what tastes like ketchup mixed with corn syrup. The beef itself is usually overcooked and chewy. The breading gets completely destroyed by the sauce. By the time it reaches your plate, you're eating beef-flavored mush. And that sauce? It's aggressively sweet with a weird artificial tang that doesn't taste like any fruit that exists in nature. The vegetables are usually overcooked too. The bell peppers are limp, the onions are translucent, and everything has that sad, steamed-to-death quality. A food blogger wrote, "Beijing beef is what happens when you try to make Chinese food for people who think ketchup is spicy. It's sweet, it's safe, and it's completely forgettable. You're paying premium prices for what's essentially Chinese-themed chicken nuggets for adults who are afraid of actual flavor. Kung Pao chicken should be a flavor bomb. Tender chicken, crunchy peanuts, dried chilies, and that perfect balance of sweet, salty, and spicy. Instead, Panda Express serves up Kung Pao chicken for people who think black pepper is too spicy. The heat level is completely inconsistent. Sometimes you get a version that has a tiny bit of warmth. Other times, it's so mild that it makes mayonnaise look dangerous. The peanuts are usually stale or missing entirely. And when they are there, they're often soggy from sitting in the sauce too long. A former cook from Arizona shared, "The Kung Pao was always a pain because customers would complain it wasn't spicy enough, so we'd add more chili sauce. Then the next customer would complain it was too spicy. There was no winning." Real Kung Pao chicken is supposed to have that mala sensation, the numbing heat from Sichuan peppercorns. Panda Express's version has neither. You're ordering a dish with a legendary reputation and getting cafeteria food with delusions of grandeur. I'm grouping these together because they suffer from the same fundamental problem. They're the most basic, boring, flavorless carbs on the entire menu. The chow mein noodles are usually overcooked and mushy. They sit under those heat lamps for hours, slowly turning into pasta-flavored mush. The vegetables are limp and flavorless. But the real crime is the temperature. Half the time, the chow mein is lukewarm at best. The fried rice is somehow even worse. Good fried rice should have distinct grains and layers of flavor from proper stir-frying. Panda Express fried rice tastes like they took leftover white rice, mixed it with frozen vegetables, and added just enough soy sauce to make it brown. There's no char, no smokiness, no complexity. A former employee from New York shared, "The fried rice and chow mein were always the first things to get cold and the last things to get refreshed. By dinner time, you might be eating rice that was cooked at breakfast. You're paying for premium carbs and getting cafeteria-quality starch." All right, enough roasting. Let's talk about the dishes that actually deserve your respect. If you're enjoying these food hot takes, smash that like button and hit subscribe, because the dishes that actually deliver are going to surprise you. While everyone's fighting over orange chicken, the real MVP is sitting right there in the corner, being consistently excellent and largely ignored. Honey walnut shrimp is what happens when Panda Express actually tries. Plump shrimp, candied walnuts, and a creamy sauce that's sweet without being cloying. The shrimp are usually cooked properly, not rubbery, not overcooked, just tender and flavorful. The batter is light and crispy, but the real star is the candied walnuts. These things are addictive, sweet, crunchy, with just enough richness to balance out the lightness of the shrimp. The sauce strikes the perfect balance. It's creamy and slightly sweet, but it doesn't overpower the shrimp or turn everything into sugary mush. Here's the insider secret. If you go during busy periods, you're more likely to get fresh honey walnut shrimp, because it's one of the dishes they actually rotate regularly. A food critic wrote, "The honey walnut shrimp is proof that when Panda Express focuses on quality instead of quantity, they can actually produce something worth eating. This is what Panda Express could be if they applied the same care to all their dishes." Beef and broccoli is the Honda Civic of Panda Express dishes. It's not exciting, but it's reliable, consistent, and does exactly what it's supposed to do. This is comfort food done right. Tender beef, crisp broccoli, and a savory brown sauce that actually tastes like something. No weird sweetness, no artificial flavors. The beef is usually cut properly and cooked to the right doneness. The broccoli maintains some bite. It's not mushy or overcooked. The sauce is savory, slightly salty, with just enough richness to coat everything without drowning it. Multiple taste tests consistently rank beef and broccoli as one of Panda Express's best dishes. It regularly scores higher than orange chicken in blind taste tests, but gets a fraction of the orders. A nutritionist said, "Beef and broccoli is one of the few dishes that actually resembles real food. It has protein, vegetables, and a sauce that isn't basically candy." Here's why it works. It's simple. There are only a few ingredients, so there are fewer opportunities to mess it up. Sometimes boring is better. Sometimes the most reliable choice is the one that doesn't try to be flashy. Here's something nobody talks about. Panda Express spring rolls are legitimately good. Like, better than some sit-down restaurants good. These aren't the sad, frozen spring rolls you get at gas stations. These are crispy, golden, properly fried spring rolls, with actual vegetables inside. The wrapper is perfectly crispy without being greasy. It shatters when you bite into it, revealing a filling that's actually seasoned and flavorful. But here's what makes them special. They're made in small batches throughout the day. Unlike some dishes that sit under heat lamps until they achieve archaeological significance, spring rolls are fried to order. A former manager from Florida shared, "The spring rolls were one of the few items we actually took pride in. They were simple, but we made sure they were always fresh and crispy." For less than the cost of most entrees, you get something that's consistently well executed, always fresh, and actually tastes like it was made by people who care about food. Food bloggers consistently rank Panda Express spring rolls among the best items on the menu. But they're often overlooked because people assume appetizers are just afterthoughts. Don't sleep on the simple stuff. Sometimes the best items are hiding in plain sight. I know what you're thinking. You just spent time explaining why Panda Express fried rice is terrible, and now you're recommending it? Vegetable fried rice is different. It's made with more care, fresher ingredients, and actually has flavor. Unlike the regular fried rice, which tastes like brown sadness with peas, the vegetable fried rice has personality. The vegetables are crisp, colorful, and actually taste like vegetables. But here's the secret: it's often fresher because it moves faster than you'd expect. Vegetarians and health-conscious eaters gravitate toward it, so it doesn't sit under the heat lamps as long. The vegetable mix is substantial. We're talking broccoli, carrots, peas, and sometimes snap peas, real vegetables with real texture. The seasoning is better balanced. There's actual wok hei, that smoky flavor you get from proper high-heat cooking. A food reviewer wrote, "The vegetable fried rice is what all their fried rice should taste like." It's proof they know how to make it properly when they want to. It's also incredibly versatile. You can eat it as a side dish, a main course, or mix it with other items. Sometimes the vegetarian option is just better, even if you're not vegetarian. I can already hear the comments. How can you trash orange chicken and then recommend sesame chicken? They're not the same, and that difference matters. Sesame chicken is orange chicken's more sophisticated older sibling who went to culinary school and learned some restraint. The sauce is more complex. Instead of just sugar and orange flavoring, sesame chicken has layers. Sweet, savory, with a nutty depth from the sesame seeds and oil. The chicken is usually better prepared too. The pieces are more consistent. The breading holds up better, and the meat inside is more tender. The sesame seeds aren't just garnish. They add texture and flavor. That little bit of nuttiness cuts through the sweetness and gives the dish some complexity that orange chicken completely lacks. A chef who worked at multiple locations shared, "Sesame chicken was always more work to make properly, but it was worth it." The sauce had more ingredients. The preparation was more careful. The consistency is better too. While orange chicken can range from decent to terrible, sesame chicken maintains its quality better over time. It's not elite-level Chinese food, but it's solid, fast, casual execution of a classic dish. Sometimes the less popular option is less popular because it's actually better, and people are just creatures of habit. So here's the truth. Panda Express is capable of making great food. The honey walnut shrimp proves it. The beef and broccoli proves it. The spring rolls prove it. They've got the ingredients, the equipment, and the supply chain to deliver quality across the board. But they don't. Why? Because Orange Chicken sells. Beijing beef sells. The safe, sugary, mediocre stuff keeps the lights on, but you don't have to settle. Every time you order Orange Chicken instead of honey walnut shrimp, you're voting with your wallet for mediocrity. Every time you grab the chow mein instead of vegetable fried rice, you're telling them bland is fine. The underrated winners show what Panda Express could be if they applied the same care everywhere. But they won't change unless customers demand it. And that starts with you. So let's make it simple. The overrated villains: Orange Chicken, fortune cookies, Beijing beef, Kung Pao, and those sad noodles and rice. The underrated MVPs: honey walnut shrimp, beef and broccoli, spring rolls, veggie fried rice, and sesame chicken. Now I want to hear from you. What's your overrated villain and what's your MVP? Drop it in the comments. Smash like if this changed how you'll order. Share it with your crew so they stop wasting money on filler. And subscribe, because more food exposes are on the way. And trust me, they're only getting hotter.